Hey you all, so I'm doing a little vlog about the Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Today's February the 29th. So since my son was born, my ex has been really in and out of my life until finally in December he completely got out of my life. And then he came back. It's like really horrible because my son is only 4 months old. And my ex gave me so many promises and stayed around while I was pregnant. And then once my son was here in the flesh, it's like my ex just ran away. So horrible. And this last time, it was like in January, because like December he completely left. Well, December, yeah, we were broken up, and then he left a Christmas present for my son, little pathetic doll. And then it's almost like as if that little doll was like almost like his goodbye present to his son, without, like, he knew in his mind it was a goodbye present. Me, I just thought it was like a present, and hopefully, I had hoped that he would try to work on his relationship with me and or his son. But see, he's a sneaky son of a bee, because I believe he wanted that present to be like the last time he sees his son and the last present he ever gives his son, like a jerk move like that. He gave him this bunny rabbit, and it's from Histoire d'Ors, from in Paris, France. History of the bear, stuffed bears. Anyway, so then one day, because this always happens when we break up, we always run into each other in the street. So in February, I just ran into him in the street. He was with his friends, like before he goes to his work. And he was really standoffish when he saw me. And I still went up to him and I handed him, I got my son, and he had his arms crossed and looking at me mean, and I just said if he would like to hold his son. And he went from being standoffish and mean to, like, he just changed, like, relaxed his demeanor, like changed his attitude, and he was like nice to my son, nice to my 2 daughters that were with me. One's 18, one is 10, and he knows them, and he was being nice to them. And he told me that he would call me and that we would see each other again so he can see our son. And I was so happy, because that's like, I wanted to try to work on our relationship again, or at least that he works on being a father to our son. And so the next day he called me, because I sent him pictures of our son, and he was like, oh, they were such beautiful pictures, I love those pictures, I love my son. And then the next day he didn't call me. And then the next, and that day, the day after, the day he didn't call me, the next day was supposed to be the day that he's supposed to see us. So it would make sense that he calls, so to make arrangements, but he didn't. And then the day he was supposed to see us, he didn't call at all. And so I'm like, what the hell happened? I did my card reading, and they were saying the card showed that he's just busy with work, like overwhelmed with work. I had reached out to his sister, and now his sister doesn't talk to me at all. But his sister she's the one who told me about his trial with his ex, and he's real stressed about it. And so I was like trying to come from a place of sympathy and compassion and understanding. And he was so mean, and he told me never to call him again, because what I did, I was calling him from my phone and he wasn't answering. And I am not familiar with the new technology. I realized finally that in earlier times when I used to call him, it would like ring for like one ring or two rings and then stop, and I would be like, what? I used to think it was the phone. And then I realized that you can do ignoring of the call, and so it goes straight to voicemail when you press ignore. And I realized that was what he was doing to me. He would intentionally ignore my phone calls. And to realize that, I mean, that is so mean and so hurtful. And so he was doing that. I was calling him and he was ignoring my calls. And so I called him from my daughter's phone. He didn't have my daughter's phone, and he answered. And then that's when I was like, it's me. And then he was like, he didn't even know what to say. He was so caught off guard that he told me never to call him. And he told me before never to call him, and he never told me that. And I'm just like left confused, like, what the hell is going on? You know, to this day, I am still like so confused. Because that is like so hurtful. But that just shows you how mean and sick and twisted he is. And it's just showing up in my cards. Like, I would have never thought that when I met him. But when I realized now, like one time when I was pregnant and I was crying, he made me cry. And he was like, I was walking and I was like soaking in tears. I was just crying, and he was just walking, and a lot of people know who he is. I don't even know why. And he was like shaking people's hand and smiling and acting like nothing. And I was like, how can you act like you're like, I'm not hurt? Like, you're not trying to comfort me. You're not doing nothing. You're just completely like with a big smile on your face, acting like nothing. And then I realized that, you know, that's what he is. That's what he does. He's like a faker, a liar, a manipulator. And I still have no clue what the hell he was doing to go in my life and give me a baby and just dump me and my baby, dump his own son. And so that's why I'm doing my tarot cards, because to see if my tarot cards are right and if they come to pass. And I hate that a lot of my cards like go back to him, but apparently, you know, apparently I'm gonna get married again. And apparently my future husband is gonna be very much like my ex, but not a manipulative piece of crap like my ex. But he will be strangely familiar, but then he won't be like my ex. You know, like where my ex was emotionally unavailable, he will be emotionally available. And where I don't even know if my ex is rich or poor, but you know, this person who comes in my life, and then that too, like sometimes I even get confused in my readings if my cards are talking about my ex or talking about this future husband of mine that's like my ex. Like, I just don't know. I just can't decipher it. Sometimes I get confused. But yeah, like, so the Mercury retrograde was supposed to bring back people from your past that you have unresolved issues with. And my ex is so hard-headed that like when other tarot readers are saying like, oh, your ex is gonna call you back, or he's coming back, or he's calling back, he never would, because he is so hard-headed. He is ridiculously hard-headed. And I am so shocked that he did text me back those 2 days, and I didn't believe his text. He texted me because, you know, I texted him about my son being sick with asthma or bronchitis, and that the doctor gave him medicine and I didn't know what to do. And he texts me back like 4 hours, 5 hours later, telling me that to give him his medicine and keep him updated every day, tell him how his son's doing, and tell him that his dad loves him, and when he's better that he'll arrange to see him. And the old part of me would have loved to have believed all of that and would have believed it and kept hope, but this new me, this damaged me, doesn't believe it anymore. And then he texts me the next day to just tell me that I'm doing a great job raising him and he looks beautiful, and that's so simple and short like that. But then the next day, which was yesterday, I text him if he can please watch him for me because I'm so tired. And so he didn't respond at all. And I don't know if he'll respond again, but it's like I see him now for who he is, and I'm just so disgusted. I'm just so disgusted in myself that I don't even know why. I just don't know why that God would put me in that kind of situation. Because with my ex-husband, it got really bad with us too. We get along great, but it's one of those situations where while we were married it was horrible, and now that we're not romantic with each other, it's we're fine, we're friends. So don't think that it's God punishing me because of my ex-husband, because I'm not guilty and he's not innocent. I don't believe it's that. But I'm just so heartbroken that I had to go through, because that was already a painful ordeal with my ex-husband. And it's more painful that, okay, after that, here's another, what parts of your heart is still intact? Here's another experience to destroy what's left of your heart. How much more can I take? I can't take anymore. So, yeah. I can't believe he came back from Mercury retrograde. I didn't believe it at all. Because I see from my tarot cards how terribly hard-headed and stubborn and sadistic he is over himself. Like with the times that Tyler was saying the ex was going to come back or reach out, he would sometimes say, oh, you guys have a weirdo. He wants to reach out so bad, but he's stopping himself. And I don't even understand why. But my tarot cards show that he likes to be in control. And he's manipulative. But I can't believe that I fell for someone like that. And, just be careful, guys. When you have someone like that, when you have anyone that comes at you and they're super nice to you, don't let 1 month, 2, 3 months go by and you think it's safe. Continuously be testing this guy in his consistency, and don't let red flags go unnoticed. If he doesn't want to tell you his job, if he doesn't want to show you where he lives, if he gives you a fake name, because he gave me a fake name. My ex gave me a fake name that he does use. And in America, it's common, when you see job applications and they say, what other names do you go by? I didn't think it was a big deal. But now it's all of those things, you need to protect yourself. You need to protect yourself. don't be bitter, but protect yourself. Not everyone out in the world is out to get you and be mean and sadistic and cruel, but those few people that are out there, you need to protect yourself. So don't let a guy for 1 month and his super kindness be what, like, oh, he's going to be nice forever. No, he needs to keep that act up for a long time. And if it goes by, if you start seeing that he starts texting you less and less, and he never takes you to his home, you're never like allowed to just go to his house, any kind of like, you just don't feel good, leave. Protect yourself. With my ex, I loved him a lot because he was so kind in the beginning. For 1 month, he was so kind. But there was always this part of me, the intuition part, that I wasn't listening to, and I don't understand why it was going off. But my intuition, what stopped me, like when he wanted us to live together, it stopped me. And when I would see him, like when we would meet up, I would be scared. But at the same time, I loved him. But I would be scared, like, like when you see, imagine a time that you had a boyfriend or girlfriend and you see them off in the distance, like you're going to meet each other, and you see them off in the distance and you wave at them and they see you and wave at you and you feel like happy because you see your person. When that would happen to me with him, I would be scared and I would not understand why. Why am I like afraid? I still don't understand why I'm afraid, but it's like my body, like my feelers were understanding it, but it's just not connecting to my brain. Why? My subconscious understood, but it was not, there's like a wire that's not connecting to my brain to allow me to understand why. My heart was too big. And it's very fine that you have a heart, but just don't let your heart overrule your brain. Make sure both of them are working. If you feel not right, your body's telling you something, and try to find out why. And if this boy or girl is not easing your worries, if she's not trying to, or he's not trying to help you understand and not working with you, leave. Don't stay, because someone who loves you is going to want to make it work. And that's my hard lesson. So, yeah, I'm still gonna keep you guys posted with everything that goes on, because I'm so curious. With all the tarot spreads I've done, 60 so far. Well, there's been some vlogs in between, but I'm curious. I hope I eventually learn and know what was really going on with him. Maybe when I'm in the child support thing, I don't know. But I'm super sad and disappointed that my son will not have a relationship with him, because it's not because of me, it's because of him, because he left when he was born and he hasn't been consistently there. And the few that he has been there, it's just been little text messages, little visits. That's no life for a child. And for you girls, you single moms, and for you guys that, maybe you stumble across me and you have children, or maybe this is why it's important that you are with someone, that it's important that if you're going to be a father, that you're a father, in other words. I have two cousins from two different sides of my family that did not have a father. One cousin, his father was never there. And my aunt remarried and had a stepfather for her son. And so it's like the stepfather's been the father figure all his life. And he's fine. And he doesn't care about his dad. But I had another cousin who the mom never remarried. And like the father would come into his life like unplanned, sporadically, like once every 5 years, once every 10 years, he just decides to show up and be a dad. And if you think that's you're doing your child any favors, my cousin would go into deep depressions when his dad would just come out of his life, because he wanted to have that relationship with his dad, and it would be so painful and hurtful when his dad would just show up one day, take him, spend a day with him, and then he never would hear from his dad again after that. And I will never forget when I was little and one of those days happened, because it didn't happen very, very often, but this was like, because I think he did when he was a child, and then again when he was a teenager. And by then, my cousin was like, if he ever comes back again, I'm just going to slam the door in his face. But when he was a child, his dad showed up and took him out. They took pictures together. And then he was expecting for his dad to like be in his life, and his dad just disappeared again. And he stayed in his room all day crying. He didn't even want us to see him, because he didn't want us to see him sad and crying the way he was. And that's what I do not want for my own son. If his dad is going to be one of those dads that's in and out of his life, that's so toxic. And I don't want that for my son. And I just hope I can remarry and have a husband that will be like a father to him. Even like my ex-husband, my soon-to-be ex-husband, is really nice to him, but like I said, there's no love between us, and that's not fair. To be married but we don't love each other, we fell out of love with each other, and I'm fine with that, like it happens. But yeah, I feel so bad for him. Especially because he looks like his dad so much. And I was led on to like a dream of a lie. His dad just lied. And this is things I wouldn't have known till like later. Till now. I wouldn't have known back then that he was just lying. I believed him. I believed everything. And so if someone's making too many excuses and they're always too busy for you and they work too much and all that, like even if they really are working a lot, still they're picking their job over you. And they have no business going into a relationship with someone if they're so obligated to work where they hardly ever see you. And my tarot cards, even with that, my tarot cards show me that he had been unfaithful. Many times my tarot cards showed me that. So it's just, he was really, really sick. This was like a psychopath that I encountered. And I don't know why. My whole balance, it's about balance, give and take. But still, I could have learned it a whole lot nicer and easier. Okay, well, bye, you guys. Thanks for listening.